everybody, it's Alara. Welcome to my channel and welcome back for those of you who are returning. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is an update today and I have a lot to talk about. Hopefully I remember it all. I have some notes, but we know how I am. I have to actually look at the notes and interpret them properly and remember to write them all down. Anyway, I'm feeling much better. For those of you who watched my whip parades and my last update, it was a little rough. Yeah, voice is back to its normal whatever self. Thank you for anyone who watched the whip parades. That they're technically, well, I guess they could technically be done if I decide they're technically done, but they're not necessarily done. I had a lot of issues getting my videos uploaded. It took me, what, I think 4 days just of messing around, and it was very frustrating. I had to email the developer back and forth to try and troubleshoot, and in the end it was basically throw out all of my edits, split the video, I'm sure you heard me complain about it if you watched the whip parades. Thank you to those of you who are new coming from those whip parades to check out my regular videos. Welcome, and thank you again for joining. Okay, so we're not doing a new Monopoly round. I definitely did not get through all of those projects, but I really enjoyed the way I worked on my projects this time. Not that I don't enjoy working on my projects anytime, but I felt like it fit well with what I'm wanting to do. So, let's see. What do I want to get into before I actually get into the stuffs? Oh, I did have a question. Actually, I've had a couple of people ask over the last few videos about the friction pens I used. And I have not forgotten. Someone had asked me like quite a list of questions about starting a full coverage, and I have been not putting it off, but I've been thinking about how I wanted to go into that, and I don't think I have the expertise knowledge that I would like to have for how I want to describe it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the time to put together what I do, what my experience is, and maybe give you a direction to look into, since I don't have all of the pertinent information that I wish I had for you. A lot of it has to do with, like, I don't even know the term for it, but basically it's not color theory. I'll get into it in that video. So I have no child for the next 24 hours, possibly 48 hours. My husband is working as he works that whole time, so my plan is to get some videos recorded. The second installment of my whip parades, which will be the rest of the whips that I have that I just haven't worked on this year. So if you're interested in that, I'm still a little bit hesitant to put those out just because each subsequent whip parade part definitely gets lower views, so the motivation to put them out is a little lower, but I still want to do it for those of you who are going to watch and anticipate that. So let's see. So yeah, so I'm hoping I can go through that quickly enough, because there's not going to really be any edits for those. There's no really before pictures from the beginning of the year to do, so I'm hoping I can get it relatively quickly and fit it in one video. But I don't know, it's like about half the projects that I have shown already. But I'm telling you, when I tell you it was a nightmare getting those things into YouTube, it's not a joke. So I also want to say thank you for those of you who have joined my Facebook group. There's not like a theme to the Facebook group other than a group of people getting together that I can actually interact with and see what you're working on. It's called One Scan at a Time. It should be linked in the description box below. Everyone is welcome. I do have some screening questions up. If I don't get those answered, I will go and Facebook spy on your page to see if, it tells you if you've had a profile for a while, but to try and just kind of, because I know I've had the issue where you're supposed to answer questions for a Facebook group and it never prompts for it. So I'm not going to just like deny. If I'm a little bit, I don't know about your profile, then you'll get declined, but I'll let you know it's just because the questions weren't answered. But yeah, I've really been enjoying being able to actually see what other people that follow me are working on. I know a few people have joined that just found it through Facebook, so they might not even watch my channel or realize I have one, which is totally fine. But yeah, like, we're throwing in some life stuff, like, as it happens. Maybe it just isn't quite something you want to throw out on your personal page, but you do want to still kind of talk about it. Not necessarily bad things or good things, but one or the other, but just stuff that might not quite fit into the category of everybody that personally. Maybe it's something happened and it affected what you were trying to do crafting wise. Maybe your family doesn't quite, or not family, but your regular page. Anyways, I could go on for a while about that, but yeah, I would love to have you if you have not joined that already. Okay. But what I do want to answer about the friction pens, excuse me, here. Do I want to go into those more, Van? No, not really. I will just make sure to put that video up very soon. I have made a video before about how I approach full coverage projects, but I have more information about those friction pens since that video was recorded. I approach starting full coverage a little bit differently, in a way, and I do want to go into a little bit more of the questions that had been asked of me previously. So, all right, I will get into the actual projects now that we are 7.5 minutes into this video already. We'll go into those. I'm going to, again, no Monopoly because I haven't gone through those, but what I will be doing is showing you the next focus pieces that did not get worked on that are in the rotation. It's just 2 of them. And then we'll go into the Monopoly pieces that have already been started. I'm not going to show anything that has not been started yet. At this point, it's just going to be a surprise in the next video. But yeah, anything that way, again, that I have a record that it's easily grabbable if I forget to do the before clip, which does happen, unfortunately, relatively regularly. So, okay, let's get into the projects and I will see you after that. All right, here we go. So I have been working on my Dragons of the Sabot. I will probably show that clip at the very end, because that's like a daily thread piece, basically. It's about 150 stitches a day. I'm calling it my daily 100 because eventually I think what'll happen is I will do, like, once all the black is done, I've got confetti happening, I will do at least 100 stitches if I'm like switching threads a lot, but right now 1 thread a day just works. So now we are on Face of a Mermaid. This is a piece from Total Cross Stitch. She is on Etsy. Let's see, she's 250 by 350. Sorry for the glare. The dark patterns are really hard to show without just me being in there in your face. So I have started her, of course. If you've been with me for a while, you know. Oh, where did she go? Oh, there she is. So far, I have a total of, here, let me get her in view. There we go. I have a total of 18,353 stitches out of 87,500 for 20.97%. I'm stitching her on 28 count even weave, 1/1 full cross. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work these parked threads in. And then once these are worked in, I will come back up to the top and start filling in across this row. Not quite page by page, but relatively. Just as kind of a, I don't know, I want to see this part filled in. So I don't know. I probably will not get all of these worked in unless a lot of these colors just, you know, it's the last stitch or whatever, or if I can finish the color off, because that is starting to happen a little bit. So yeah, we'll see where I get to and how many of these parked guys I can get in to the end of the day. So, all right. Okay, here we are, 920 stitches later. Man, the confetti in this girl is real. As you can see, I worked in almost all the park threads. I'm both excited that they're almost done and saddened that it's 920 stitches later and I'm still working on them. Hopefully you can see just how, I mean, they were everywhere. I came up here. Once I got the thread tucked in over here, I still had one left and, you know, some left, and I would come up here. I did kind of not really got burned out on it, but I was focused more on getting the threads tucked in than I was finishing the threads at one point. So they ended up going back on floss drops, and they will come out when it's time to work on them some more. But I can't keep holding it back like that. It's too far in my face. So we are now at 19,273 out of 87,500. We are now at 22.03%. So we hit a percentage milestone. And yeah, it's crazy to me how, especially like with these previous pages that are finished, how much this just looks like gobbledygook until I get the very last stitches filled in, and then all of a sudden it's this detailed whatever it is. So once I get these worked in next week, I did decide to come back up here and not necessarily work by page specifically, but do the diagonal through these pages to get the top row finished so that I can move the whole thing down into these last pages. And then I will maybe start not necessarily color completing, but sort of working towards that goal. You know, if I have like 1 or 2 stitches left of whatever color I happen to be working on, I will go ahead and try to finish those off. Even with it gridded, I don't like relying on my counting of squares. Say like if a stitch was here and that's it. Not to mention the, you know, kind of pain in the butt of actually securing the threads. So that's where she is this week. She'll come out next week and keep on trucking on. Hopefully I didn't mean to, but I did kind of catch this thread in, so that one's going to wait until that whole top row is done because I don't feel like moving the nerge. But excuse me, I'm not as bad as far as coughing and stuff goes. My throat still hurts a little bit, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So, all right, I think that's enough staring at not messy stitches, but you know what I mean. So, all right, on to, I think we're going to go ahead and do the first whatever Monopoly. We'll do a Monopoly day tomorrow. And we'll see what I'll get done with that. So today is my wedding anniversary and my husband is stuck at work all day long. So I thought I would bring this piece out. It's on the list of focuses anyways. So we're just gonna not worry about any kind of order on my list. So this is a piece charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Adele Sessler. This is Beloved. And this is the flip version. She's 475 by 622, so a decent size piece. And it has, look at that, 27 colors. Not many at all. I am up here in his hair. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count oatmeal even weave. Yeah. And there's where they're at. So far I have 7,755 out of 29,000, I wish. 295,450 for 2.62%. There we go. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably have to grid out some more, but I'm going to go ahead and tuck these parked threads in. I think that's kind of what I was working on up here anyways. And since I've got the big frame, I will, if I get these worked in, I will go ahead and come in and work on, maybe. I might get tired of park threads at that point. So, yeah, I will just be working on this today, and we will see how far I get. And here we are, 425 stitches later. Definitely not as many as I hoped to get, but I did get some stuff done elsewhere today. So we are now at 8,180 stitches out of 295,450 for 2.77%. And I'm very glad this is going to stay out for a while because I enjoyed working on it. I definitely want to get the rest of these tucked in, but I was pretty happy with how much more came in over here. So that is where we will leave it for now. And next up, well, first up for Monopoly here is the Swans. This is from Year in the Woods, the first round. Man, I'm excited for the second round if you guys have not seen them. Sugar Glider just got released as far as their teaser. So cute. So yeah, but this is what I'm working on for right now. And I forgot to pull up the actual thingy. Hang on. So far we have 2,237 stitches in out of however many there are. And it's due to get 750 for Monopoly. I think what I will do on these Monopoly projects, if I cannot get the 750 done today, you'll see the after on like whatever, because so my plan is to every other day. So today is going to be Monopoly, and then tomorrow is going to be the next focus piece, and then I will switch back to Monopoly and vice versa. Excuse me. So what I'd like to do is, if I don't get it done for today, I still want to switch to my focus piece tomorrow, and then the next Monopoly day I will finish this, and that's when those, like my after clip will happen. I know it doesn't really matter to you guys, you're just seeing it in the order that I show you, but just in case I do happen to talk about things a little bit out of order in the future, that could be why. Because I don't want to just leave projects hanging for the next week. So that being said, I think I will be working. I think I want to go ahead and finish their faces, get the beaks in, because I do believe I did not finish this color completely, but I did finish the skein with the same dye lot here in the Swans, and then it'll be a different one with the next snowflakes that get stitched in. But I think my goal is to go ahead and keep filling in the Swans. I know that's kind of the fun part, and I'll just be left with background, but really this is so stitch heavy that the background's going to go pretty quickly, I think, after this. Although, even though it's not like dense stitching, it is still, the upper half of the pattern. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. So, yeah, 750... might get this wing filled in. That's kind of like a gray-blue color here. And maybe the pattern on the feathers on the swan's necks here. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that. We will see. So let me get that shot centered there, and I will be back with my stitches when they're done. Okay, here is the Swans. 794 stitches later out of the 750 required. And I'm very excited. I got their faces done, and I did get the pattern. This color, I believe, is completely done. There's still quite a bit left of this one, this peachy orange color. It goes here still. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress on that. And I'm going to be moving to another one in this series next. So I will get it set up and we'll take a look and see what we're looking at with that. All right, so here we are next with my next focus piece. This one is hopefully going to be finished here in the next few months. Filling in this section is the very last section that I have to do. I actually forgot to record this clip, so I've put in 88 stitches so far, but it was just filling this part in right here. And I was like, oh no, I forgot to film. So I don't know how much I will be getting done today. I feel motivated today, so I will be working my house and getting some work done. But yeah, that's it. This is that waterfall. So I think I'm going to be working my way up through this section and then probably back down through this section. Although there are some, like this orange color is in here, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to get, I don't know, maybe 500 stitches today, but we'll see. We will see how it goes. This is a kit, stamped kit, obviously, and it is on 14 count, doing all the kit stuff, 2/1 full cross. So yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, I think we were about there. Does that look right? Can you see the difference? I had just a little tiny bit of the horse's butt in. Okay, so I finished filling in that blue that was here and brought it up, and I have a smattering of stitches now through here. I finished off 2 or 3 colors, I think. I got 728-ish stitches in. I say ish because, sometimes I will space out while I'm stitching and I'm like, did I actually hit the button, or so there could be give or take a few. So that's what you can see so far right there. And I think this one on my board is going to get modified from 4,000 to 4,000-ish, because I sort of roughly counted squares earlier today, and it'll be just over 4,000 to finish it, but I'm not putting this away until it's done. So we will have a finish eventually once this gets rotated out and in a few times. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm sad that it doesn't look like I can't really see. Like, I know we put stitches in, but it doesn't look like 728. Oh well. So I'm going to, I know you're going to see this out of order. I haven't actually finished the stitches on the swans yet, so I got to go back and finish those, and then we'll switch over to, I think, the ferret. Okay, see you next project. Okay, next up is the ferret from Cottage Garden Samplings. This one's number 5 of the first year in the woods. And I'm working this on Bestitch Me's version of the Velt linen. I think this one is Velt, I think. No, I just said that. I don't remember. Anyway, it's on Bestitch Me's Woodland Bundle. I'm using the 28 count Lugana 2/2 full cross. And this is right here. I think, yeah, I started to bring this down around his back, but I think what I'm going to do is start on I'm going to put his other foot in and start up here with his head, and maybe, I don't know, we'll see what that gets me. I'm supposed to put in anywhere from 85 to 850. So, yeah, we will see. We'll see what that looks like. I'm excited. I know that's kind of skipping over and getting into the fun stuff, but I don't want them to be headless. That's just that's weird. It bothered me on the swans, so we're gonna fix that now. Okay, so I thought I would stop here. I'm not completely done. I am at 886 stitches. However, those are only the first leg of the stitch for that color. And I thought I would stop here because I wanted to show sort of the difference. And I don't know what's going to happen. So this is the DMC conversion for the called for Weeks Dye Works. For the Weeks Dye Works thread, which is driftwood. And I only have enough, I've talked about this before. I only have one skein of each of the fancy flosses. Some of that will be okay. Most of this requires 2 skeins for the 28 count when you're doing 2/2. So I really like the suggestion of doing the first leg with the DMC conversion and doing top leg with the specialty floss. So I wanted to just kind of show if we're going to see a difference with that, if it's worth it. If you're on a budget, and you only want to do, if it calls for 4 skeins, you can get maybe away with just doing 2 if you're willing to do 2 separate sets of tent stitch, basically. So I wanted to kind of show the difference between this and what it will look like. But I'm loving him. He's so freaking cute. His little face. So I'm really, really happy that I got his entire head in. I was a little worried that that was not going to happen, but as you can see, and then I did actually end up bringing this down a little bit when I was done with the thread up here. I just finished that off down here. Same with the continued colors right here from the top as well. So okay, so I'll be back in a second to show you if there's any difference, if we can even tell. Okay, so I didn't have quite enough thread on the needle for the Weeks Dye Works. That's okay. These will just get done next time. So from here up is the blend. Now, if you can see, it's not a perfect match, obviously. Even the shade, I feel like, is off. Now, that thread is not DMC brand, but I believe, I don't know, I'd have to pull a skein to see how far off the shade really is, but honestly, it's close enough for government work, so it's close enough for me. Now, the way I stitch, I don't, unless I'm very specifically searching for that change in the variegated floss, I take one strand off of my floss drop and I fold it in half. And that is the sort of blending effect that I prefer on my variegated flosses. So for me, I don't care for this stripy look. So hopefully when we do the flowers, it won't do that. This is a very subtly variegated floss as it is. So I really wasn't expecting a ton of difference, but I do like the effect. I think it's a nice color for this palette so far. So yeah, I think that for my preferences, I really think this method is probably going to work. Now, that being said, the yellow in these little flower thingies is this variegated floss. I am not doing half crosses for 4 stitches and stopping it every single time. That, number one, that's going to be really bulky on the back, and that's too much work and for not enough of the variation. So I will be doing these little guys in the DMC conversion completely, and then we'll switch to the variegation on the saffron. So but yeah, I'm still going to call this 886 stitches because these are marked off in Pattern Keeper. And yeah, I'm not going to bother let me cut these in half. What's left? No, it's 886. And yeah, I'm super stoked with how that's looking and where that's at right now. So I will go ahead and put this away. Got no work done today. I have been struggling majorly with not only executive dysfunction, but just, I don't know, something is going on with my motivation, and I don't know. So I did do some work yesterday, but today just it did not happen. That, and it's freaking hot. And if you're in, I'm sure you've heard anybody in the Midwest US like complaining completely about this, but we're not used to this type of heat this quickly in the year. Like, it was at 8 o'clock, no, at 7 o'clock when I took the dog out, it was 81 degrees still. No, I'm sorry, 91 degrees, and the real feel is over 100, which I think for Celsius, the real feel is in the 40s, or very, very close to 40, if not 40. So it's just, you can't breathe, and the humidity is like 70%. It's like it's sucking air through a straw. It was really, ugh. So I'm in the air conditioning, so you don't think that would really affect me much, but I don't know. It's been nice getting out and doing some exercise with the dog and walking, and it's been out for 2 minutes so he can do his business and then come back home. Anyways, that's where we're at with that. I will move on to the next project. I'm still on Monopoly Day, so I will see what's next. Okay, so this is a pattern from Etsy called Pastel Rainbow, and the store is Counting the Stars. And it's not full coverage. And let's see. I don't think it gives me the actual, just says 30 by 30 on 16 count. I'm stitching it on this 14 count navy Aida, so it'll be a little bit bigger than that. And this was a new start, so this is fresh. I'll be honest, I'm not enjoying it. Not after stitching on the Ferret and then coming to this. As you can see, the stitches are pretty kind of chaotically spread out. There's not really a pattern to it. It's not symmetrical. And the pattern went into Pattern Keeper. However, this, I will show you part of it. You're not going to be able to stitch anything off of this, but it goes in like this, and it went in color like that, which at first I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, like, you know, I can see the colors, this is not like, but then it's selected, but you can't actually really see it, and I can't make the numbers opaque or anything, so it's been really, really tough to stitch it. I've been having to switch between the markup and the moving, and kind of just double checking that I'm hitting them all by doing that. So it's going to be a pain in the ass to stitch, to be honest. And yeah, like I said, it's not, the colors aren't symmetrical, so it's definitely like a digitally rendered pattern, not rendered by hand, which it isn't typically a complaint that I have, but with this kind of geometrical pattern, I would have thought that's what it was, that it would have been geometrically like symmetrical. I mean, I will stitch it. It is very pretty, but it's not going to be one I want to stitch for long periods of time on, that's for sure. So there's two colors here, this light yellow and then this darker one. This color is actually finished already. This one has like the very outer four corners. It's still got some there. So I'm stitching it 2/1 full cross. I'm also not loving this Aida. I don't know if I know who the manufacturer of this is, but the holes, like, the holes are kind of not, here, if I can, like, there's a thread here, and then you can barely see the thread next to it. So sometimes they come up here, and sometimes they come up here, and sometimes they can't tell which one I came up in, and the X ends up looking really wonky, and I have to frog it, and then I have to restitch it. So yeah, this is definitely not going to be my favorite pattern ever. But like I said, I do really like the colors. I think it'll be really pretty when it's done, but it's definitely going to be one of those that it's a good thing I'm using it in Monopoly, because otherwise I probably would not pull it voluntarily very often. So, well, you win some, you lose some. Okay, so here we are with Star Wars poster, and this is off of Etsy. I don't even know if it's available anymore. I don't think it is, at least not from where I got it. So this is excuse me, 300 by 390. I'm very tired today. I got less than 5 hours of sleep, so we're struggling. We're on the struggle bus today. And I did the thing where I forgot to record the pre-stitch blurb. So I grabbed a screenshot, and I'm stitching this on 32 count even weave fabric, 1/1 full cross, and that is, hopefully it's not too terrible. I grabbed the screenshot off of my video, and let's see, I got 600 stitches in yesterday, so here's where we're at now. You can you can see its face coming in. His lips and nose are right there, and can you tell that it's Luke? You can't really see it on the recording, but I am a little concerned that this part of his face is a little dark. It really doesn't look bad between, well, kind of, you can see. We'll see when more of it gets in how that's going to look. So this is going to be a really, really dark shadow right here. And then this is pretty much going to be all white. Or 3865, I can't remember which one it uses, but yeah, I feel pretty good about the amount of stitches I got in yesterday. And I got some other stuff done too, but man, my brain is just, yeah. And I had to park these because without gridding, there was just too much between this stitch and the next stitch. So that's what happened with both these. They're just gonna have to wait until I get more stitches in. So, and just, I was looking for something to watch while I'm stitching on dragons this morning, and I was feeling, I don't know, my imposter syndrome came out a little bit. I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed with just the amount of choices and stuff, like in my subscriptions feed, as far as, who to watch. And I had this really humbling feeling, and just was feeling very, very honored that y'all that watch my videos and take the kind of time to like and comment, and just, yeah, the time out of your day was really humbling to have that feeling of gratitude for that, for what you guys do for my channel. Because I started this whole thing off with no like real direction, no real ambition, and you guys are seriously the reason why I keep doing this. And I love stitching. It's not that I wouldn't be stitching, but I share it still because of you, and that you choose to watch my videos out of literally thousands of other videos and hundreds of other floss tubers. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart. So with that sappiness, I'm going to pull out my dragon's piece and do my daily stitching on that, and then figure out where to go from there, because there is probably not going to be a lot happening today for me otherwise, because I am just, my goal is to stay awake today and actually go to sleep tonight. So, okay, enough staring at Mark Hamill's face. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Next this is a story keep from Heaven and Earth Designs. That's Taz. Hi, Taz. And the artwork is by Randall Spangler. I have 3 of these Dragons books. There is, I guess now there is a like a supersize that has all the books that she's charted of his. I just have the 3. I wouldn't necessarily want to stitch all of them. That being said, I am stitching this on a 25 count Lugana. I don't have a start yet. And as you can see, I have it 3 wide because I realized the piece of fabric that I had would fit all 3. So I started gridding it out, and then I was like, wait, let me double check. 2 of them are 62 stitches wide. One of them is 66 inches wide. One of them is 358 stitches long. One is 349 stitches long, and one is 369 stitches long. That was frustrating. I'm pretty sure, I think Stuart from Stuarts and Stitches, he has that supersized one, and I would assume, I'm pretty sure they're all the same size. So why she couldn't have charted it that way to begin with, even on the individual ones, it's kind of like the stocking issue. I was just talking to Jen about this, kind of getting an opinion on, well, just, what's the word? Spitballing on just if I wanted to go ahead and do this, because I have to cut quite a bit off of one of them in order for them to fit together properly. She's got a couple of her stockings that are not really close to being the same size, and it's like, I don't know. I just feel like that's a little bit of common sense that people might want to stitch multiple, like, of the same style and of the same series, but not necessarily all of them. But yeah, if you want, all that to say, if you do end up, thinking you might want to stitch one or two of the books, you might as well go ahead and get that supersized one, because number one, then you'll at least have them all if you decide you do want to do more. And they'll all assumingly be at least the same height, even if they differ in width. The width wouldn't have bothered me nearly so much, except the way that I wanted them laid out. Two of them have a blue book background, and one has a brown one. And if I wanted to do like narrow, wide, narrow, then it would be blue, blue, brown. And rather than have 2 of the same width, blue, brown, and then have this kind of wonky one, this is the one I had to cut off a lot of. That would have bothered me. So I did shave, not this one. This one is actually, I did have to shave a few off of the feet. And I think, yeah, off of the very tippy top, I think I shaved a couple of rows. More than a couple. I shaved 6 off the top here. You can see that. And I think I had to do 11 altogether. Or 9 altogether. And some off the bottom here. So hopefully it will still look good once they're done, that they'll end up being cohesive together. I'm still considering this 3 separate projects for my stitching purposes, but I do have them labeled up at the top with which ones are which, just so that I have it for future me. So this is only supposed to get up to 14 to 140 on this one, so it's really not going to be much of a start. It was definitely more work just to get it set up with the other 2 than it will be to stitch it, but that's okay. It'll still be a start. So let's see where we get to. Okay, I don't think I had made a decision, but I did go ahead and choose 1/1 full cross. I don't love the color coverage, but I don't hate it, and I feel like with this small of a piece, tent stitch would just show those half legs a little bit too, like, it's not as defined as a full cross. So I got 201 stitches. I did not calculate a percentage because with stuff cut off, it's not the correct percentage anyways. Like, even the stitch count itself today is wrong, so that's okay. Yeah, 201, and that's where she is. Not a whole lot to say about that now that I've explained everything else. So it's getting a little bit late, but I might be able to squeeze most of the next Monopoly piece in. And then tomorrow is Wednesday. I have to take my kiddo to the orthodontist and get assessed for if we actually need to worry about orthodontal work yet. He's 7, poor kid. My kid's just straight teeth is not in our wheelhouse, apparently. So, and then I'm hoping to record the rest of this update tomorrow, but we will see. I'm not sure when you're going to see this, but yeah, let's see if we can't get at least one more Monopoly piece in today. Okay, so last but not least, we have Dragons of the Sabot. This is artwork by Ann Stokes, charted by Pain Free Crafts, and I think I said it backwards last week, or last update, I should say, or even in my Whip Parade, I don't know, but I said something like, Hayde charts it, and it's retired, and now I had it backwards. Pain Free Crafts retired this chart, and Hayde, Heaven and Earth Designs now charts it. So this is 755 by 800, so it's big. And this, even though I'm showing this last, this is my daily piece. So I have been working on it since the last update. And I started off by, and my arm is resting on my belly, and my belly is bouncing when I talk. I started with the idea of just doing one thread every day, which is about 150 stitches, depending on if I have to like skip anything, or like if I have a space or whatever, if I have to end the thread and move it. But then I did the math. I was talking to Jade from the 310 Stitcher, and I realized, and I didn't want to put pressure on myself to do something like this. However, we were talking about, like, the fact that we have a crap ton of projects and that they are going to take us forever and ever, amen, to get done. And I realized this was going to take me like 7 years to do. I'm going to go ahead and put where I was up on the screen. And I don't want it to take that long. It was like 7.5 years. And I'm like, I could cut that in half just by doing 2 strands a day, or approximately 300 stitches a day, approximately. So that's what I did. About halfway through, I started working 2 threads. Maybe not even halfway, sometime this week, maybe even. And I got in a total from the last update from the last update was 2,738 stitches. As far as the goal goes, when I wrote it down, was 40,884. So we are now at 2,297 of that. It's okay if that doesn't make sense. It's fine. It's just simply from the way I notated it. So here is where we are now. So as you can see, I finished filling this in, and this is the dragon's face. Got this all in and started down on this. Now there is no more black in this area here. So, but in the dragon itself, there is all the way up to like in this corner. I will probably shift the fabric once I'm done filming before I start stitching tomorrow, because there's quite a bit left in this to fill out. You can see here. So all of that, and that has to be done as well. So yeah, I'll probably go ahead and shift the fabric a little bit in the hoop just so that I'm not fighting with it over here. And yeah, so I'm very happy with the progress. I mean, I know it's been longer than a week, but I'm very happy with just the one or two, the 2 threads a day now. It's very doable. It's something I come downstairs after I wake up and like I stitch on this for a little bit just to kind of wake up. And yeah, so we are now at a total of 212,975 out of 604,000. We are at 35.26%. So very excited. So hopefully I won't have to take this stupid screenshot and I will remember to actually film the clip before I start stitching. Because pulling screenshots from videos has been very aggravating. YouTube quality does not want to update properly and blah, blah, blah. And technical issues. So, okay, that is it for the day. I'm going to get my board out so that you can kind of see where I'm at visually for the week and where we're going to be going as far as plans, because I do not have a round of Monopoly this week. Still quite a bit to go through before we hit the next round. So I'll show you the board and then we'll go into kind of what's left and reminders and stuff. I will not be showing any of the focus pieces that I've already worked on, as far as like, you just saw that. You don't need to see it again. But I will pull out the 2 that have not been worked on, and then we'll start rotating back into the focuses at the top. I'll show you. Hang on. Okay, so here's my board. that all got kind of ridiculous, but I put each day's stitching so that I can put it in my tracker properly. And I was like, I'm running out of space. So I'd already had these first 2 days tallied, and I just used this number for the goal for how many stitches of the 310 was left. And that had already been stitched. So that's why that's that. And the grand total of all of the stitching is this number, that 2,734. But the 2,297 is just what was not tallied at that point. I think that was like between the update and the whip parade, I had stitched those 2 days. So, yeah, as you can see, now I did also add ish here for Pegasus, because I did kind of I might have already talked about this. This was a long time ago in the video for me. But yeah, we're going to finish Pegasus, whatever that takes. So it'll go over a little bit probably. But yeah, so I'll keep a running total here of these guys, and they'll just be swapped out as needed. I am going to, once I get everything recorded, I will erase this stuff and move the rest of Monopoly up, because I think there's like 3 projects that would not fit there. So, but yeah, I really, even though this isn't like this is more for a me thing than for like showing you guys, I like having it. So yeah, so let me switch off and we will take a look at Autumn Quackers, Melaganos, and then maybe the next. I don't know. I'll show you until I decide I'm done showing you. Okay, so there we have it for the progress since last update. So the ones that I have not gotten to are Autumn Quakers, or Autumn Quackers, as I read every time I read it. Do I need to take it out of the plastic? No, we can get away with it. So there's the Autumn Quackers, Autumn Quakers from Rosewood Manor. I have a small start on this. There we go. Just this little corner here, and it's supposed to get whatever it gets. It's a focus piece. So there. I will go into details as per usual when I actually start stitching. I don't want to be here all day, and I'm pretty sure there was a lot of I'm pretty sure my, oh, this is probably going to push an hour video, so as usual. The other focus that I did not get to is Melaganos. This was a limited edition piece from Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork by Pia Wanachuwang, or however you say your name. 530 by 536, 503, 503, 500 by 503. I say I'll get into details later, and then what do? Go into details. Here's where we're starting from. Yeah, we're just, I think what I'm doing is it doesn't look like I'm working in this kind of diagonal, but I am. That's completely filled in, and then I will just pick whatever is next to fill in. Oh, let me go ahead and show you. No, because she's earlier in the video. It's fine. It's fine. Not started. That one started. Okay. This one is snow falling on paper. It's a pattern from Mill Hill. I am not using any of the called fors. That's where that's starting from. And that's my starting spot. It's only slated to get 100 stitches on it, so it's going to be a very slow fill in. That's okay. That is not much of a border at all. I don't know what I was thinking on that one, because I have plenty. I could have started much lower. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine, it'll be fine. I don't have a cover photo for the next one because I'm doing a color conversion. But this is Celtic Autumn. And she's going to get 200-ish stitches. But that is where we're starting from on her. I did scroll her up just a little bit so that I can go ahead and start. If I get bored of these motifs, I'll start working on her dress again. And this is, I know it says Rainbow Horse, but it's actually Spirit Horse from Pixie Cold is the artist. Gecko Rouge has a kit on their website that I found and realized after I bought some China stuff way back in the day. That is where we're starting off on that. I may try to scan this in and get it into Pattern Keeper. Although it's in color, and the color ones are, as I showed, not as cooperative as I'd like. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that one is doable. Because the paper that this company uses is really slick. You can't really mark it off. It's not fun to work with. That one. Uh-oh. I am missing one. I think. I could have swore I pulled her out. I'm missing Stained Glass Goddess. Okay. I just will not. Do I want to get up and get her? How lazy am I today? I'm feeling very lazy today. Okay, I will show you these next ones and then I will decide. So this next one up is Bella Filipina piece, Gaia the Earth Goddess. And I'm a decent chunk of the way into her. Right here. I would really love to work on her on some scroll rods, but that won't happen until Celtic Autumn is done. I am doing the skin 1/1. She looks a little creepy because her face isn't done. I'll probably work on that See if I can get her face filled in. So, yeah. That's where we're starting with on her. Oh, I have a thread on the back. Okay, that's new. I think I did that for a whip parade, so that the stringies weren't in the way when I showed it. It's bugging me. I could have swore I pulled her out. And then the next one is this Realist kit, Underwater Kingdom. I just have a start up here in the corner. This one I was able to get into Pattern Keeper. Okay. Here we go. That's where I'm starting, right? Yeah, that's where I'm starting from. Okay. It's bugging me. I could have swore I pulled her out. Alright, let me go grab Earth Goddess. I'll be right back. Not Earth Goddess, Stained Glass Goddess. So this is a piece by Tilton Crafts. And there she is. Now, they charted the background, unfortunately. So I don't have an accurate stitch count when I do this because I am not stitching that background. Oops, scratch it in the bag. Oh well. Here, I don't need to unfold it all, but I have stitched from the middle up to the top. So this is the top of the border. And I will just be working my way around up here. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a lot of, excuse me, I probably will be doing a lot of 310. I don't know, we'll see what the mood strikes me as to do, but that's where she's at. Yeah, and that's it as far as Monopoly projects that I have already started. So we'll just go over the ones that are new as I get to them next video. Okay, and then there's an extra, there's bonus stuffs. So last, I didn't mention it, but I did get my next round robin arrived, and I completed one of the sections that I can do. I can stop there, but I can also do an extra one, and I think I'm gonna probably end up doing the extra one. But I was contacted by, I've seen her a lot. I think it's a her. I've seen her stuff a lot, kind of floating around. She's been contacting a lot of Flosstubers to, maybe not even Flosstubers, people on Instagram for sure, to review and, you know, new company kind of thing, right? But this is, hopefully I don't butcher the name, Pavatrulia. I practiced and it's still hard. And they are a Ukrainian company. And she, again, I'm assuming a she, I don't know. She contacted me and asked if I wanted to test some projects for review for free. And I said, yes, absolutely, because I had seen these and they're really cute. Even some of the larger kits, I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. But I couldn't decide between like two of the, she gave me a abbreviated list of things to pick from. And I was like, do you want me to do this one or this one? She's like, pick both. I said, okay, thank you. So these two, I'm going to be stitching, and they're adorable. And these are bookmarks, obviously. And I wanted to just kind of go over a little bit what's in these kits from the get-go. So obviously I'm not going to be showing the pattern, but it's just like enclosed in this little cover photo thing. And then instructions here as well as the pattern. Now it feels like regular, maybe one step heavier paper. It's not like, don't want to say it's flimsy because it's not, but it's definitely not like a reinforced paper kind of thing. So got directions here. And then the pattern is nice and big actually as far as the bookmarks go. Obviously I can't speak for the bigger kits. And then there's a separate thing for finishing the bookmark. And they do include 2 pieces of the, that looks like maybe an 18 count. I didn't even pay attention when I was ordering them. 16 count Ada. So there's 2 pieces of 16 count Ada. I'm tempted to see if I can stitch the pattern on both sides and then sew it together, because that kind of bugs me having like a blank piece of Ada on the one side. I was thinking maybe a felt would be more appropriate, but that's okay. So we'll see how much thread I have, or I might just match, you know, color match or whatever. And then the thread comes on this little organizer. Now the, yes, it does look like the numbers are, they do coincide with the numbers on, here, let me see if I can work out the pattern. So here, so the organizer is labeled 1 through 8, and that, but the symbols are not on the organizer, which is, it's fine, but that might get a little annoying if you have like a bigger kit. Like I would probably, like I still probably will, even though it's 8 colors, 9 colors, 9 colors, including the black for back stitching. I will probably still draw the symbols on there just so that I don't have to go between the two as much. Not bad. Anyway, so I will be, I mean, should be a relatively quick stitch. So, and I want to get that done kind of ASAP just so that I can get that review out for her on Insta. And I haven't posted on Instagram in forever, but this will go up there as requested. So thank you for sending me these adorable kits. I will, get on that ASAP. And the nice thing with these is I can like show you as I'm stitching, unlike the round robin. Okay, so that is what's on the docket for stitching. So I do have some more like sort of stitchy talk, but as far as like my active stitching, that's it. I need a drink real quick, I'm sorry. Okay. So StitchCon is over. My bags went there. I have not heard back from Barbara yet, but that's totally understandable. Cleanup after a huge event like that, kind of getting back into the norm. So I will touch base with her as far as that goes. And then I look forward to getting whatever inventory is left back up into the Etsy shop, which is also linked below. Because I don't know, I'm assuming they didn't sell out, but that's okay. So we'll get whatever's left up into the shop. And then if you are new, I've also been invited to vend at the Gathering Thread Retreat in Ottawa, Canada in August. Now that is still sort of pending. I'm definitely going. It's just a matter of, am I going to just go hang out? Am I going to vend? What am I doing? Because I'm pretty sure I've spent between 8 and 12 hours on the phone at this point with Canada, getting with their government, trying to make sure all of my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed as far as basically importing stuff to sell into Canada. You know, I had to register for their business number and all the things, and I've run into more questions that I have on some of their paperwork, and it's very, very difficult to get through to their border services, which is who handles a lot of those kinds of questions when it comes to that. I think the last time I tried, I was on hold for an hour and a half before I was like, I have stuff I have to do, so I had to hang up. So I'm hoping to get that sorted before, before sort of the deadline that I need to let Jade know if I'm going to be able to vend or not. So But yeah, as far as that goes, it's a resounding yes, I want to. It's just a matter of, can I get all the paperwork together before my deadline? Let's see. I have another exciting, well, for me, exciting announcement. I applied and was approved for a wholesaler account with Sullivan's. Sullivan's. They don't just make thread. So Sullivan's thread is probably the most familiar, but they also have some supplies and quilting things and yarn and not a huge selection as far as the non-thread items go, but I went ahead and just said, yeah, sign me up for all of it, and we'll go from there. But and I still have to clarify some things about like what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do, in regards to how I utilize their product. I'm not going to be able to just have an inventory to sell because as a wholesaler, you do have to have a minimum order quantity, and that's not practical as far as me holding the inventory is not the issue. It's acquiring the inventory that does it does add up to a pretty penny. But my goal is to be able to offer a budget-friendly kitting service for like full coverage, or basically the DMC equivalent thread pack for projects that you want to do. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. Let me know in the comments if that is even something that would even be remotely interesting to have as an option from me, because yeah, while I know the quality of DMC is widely recognized, I myself stitch with Sullivan's threads, and they're similar to CXC as far as that level of quality. As far as I've heard, I have not personally stitched with CXC floss, but I have personally stitched with Sullivan's, and I like them. So let me know what your questions would be about that, or as far as, because I know Sullivan's isn't widely used as far as I know. Everybody always talks about DMC. So, but I am very excited for the possibility of this happening. But yeah, let me know if that's even something you would be interested or curious about, or anything like that. And then I think that's it as far as stitching stuffs go. This is Thursday, by the way, June the 26th, I think at this point, 7th, 6th, 6th, 26th, Thursday, June 26th. Let me take a breath. I wanted to record this yesterday, but life happened. My son had his orthodontist consultation. He's 7 years old, the poor kid, and it was confirmed that he needs to have like a palate spacer on the top and bottom, because his teeth are like angled in like on both, and there's not enough space, so they have to expand those. That's like a 12-month process, and then once he has all of his permanent teeth in, he will have to have a round of braces. The sticker shock from that is real, so I'm actually going to be looking at destashing quite a bit of my diamond painting collection, just to try and there's financing available through the office, but that is really going to put our budget very, very, very tight. So I'm going to try and pay as much of a chunk of it as I can through that. So I'll probably just be doing that on eBay. So I know this is not a diamond painting channel, so I didn't want to get into a lot of here's what I'm going to be selling. No, just if you are like me and you are multi-craftual, you probably are familiar already with diamond painting. But yeah, I have more kits. Same with my cross-stitching addiction. I have more kits than I can shake a stick at, so it's not going to stress me really to declutter and destash a lot of those. So yeah, that's got to happen. And then on the way home, I was like, let me see if I can go ahead and make a trip down. So the closest place that can repair my sewing machine, which I talked about this, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I think. There's a part that snapped. And we have two of the same machine, and both of the machines they're going to want to do the same exact thing. Like, I'm going to have to upgrade my machine at some point, and I don't know how to do that. Like, make that happen at this point. Anyways, and unfortunately, the local guy who's not like an authorized certified technician for my brand, he used to be, which is why I was like, yeah, okay, go ahead and look at it. And yeah, he can't order the part because it's very specific to the certified technicians. So I have to take it like 45 minutes from my house. They're not open on my husband's day off. So I was like, crap, I don't really want to take the kid with me for a 2-hour round trip when he gets so car sick. I was like, maybe Grandpa will watch him. So he was going to watch him. And I grabbed everything I needed, and I hadn't had lunch between the orthodontist appointment and heading out. So I was like, let me stop at McDonald's and grab something so that I'm not, like, starving. And I sat in the drive-thru for maybe, like, 5 to 8 minutes. Nothing crazy long. We're in a major heat wave, though. Like, the feels like outside, probably not right now. It is raining. It's a little dark, and thank goodness we need it. But at like 11 o'clock this morning, it feels like was 102 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pushing 40 degrees Celsius, if not in the 40s at that point. And I pulled out of the drive-thru, and I realized that I was being yelled at by the gauges, and my heat was topped out, like in the red. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You need to stop the car. So I pulled into the gas station, turned off the car, and I was like, okay, let me eat my sandwich and see how we go. And I texted my father-in-law because this is his vehicle that he's gracious enough to let us use, because we're really a one-car family, which works for us since I'm usually home, but sometimes you got to have that second vehicle to go do other stuff. I sat there for maybe 15 minutes or so. I texted my father-in-law. I was like, I'm at the gas station. I didn't get very far. The car is overheated. So I'm going to eat my lunch and see what we have. He's like, did it start back up? I was like, I don't know. I haven't tried yet. It didn't have any problems, like, as far as no weird noises or anything before it got hot. So then he, of course, instilled the paranoia in my brain. So I finished my lunch. And I turn it to the on position and not to the start. You know, I just turn it on, and it's still just topped out. I was like, oh, crap. I mean, it's over 100 degrees out, basically, in the sun. It's not going to cool off very fast. And I go to start it. And it turns over, and it tries to start, and it sounds awful. Like, is this thing going to explode on me? So I turned it off again, and I was like, you just had to say that it was it going to start? You just had to ask, didn't you? It's not starting. It's like, I'm going to sit here for a little longer and see. It was like, and see if it starts cooling down. I'll go tell the attendants that, you know, I'm not weird. I'm just stuck. He was like, I'll be up there in a few minutes. Okay. So he gets up there, and it's been, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes at this point, 25, 30 minutes. And the needle has gone, like, just, it's still in the red, but it's not quite as high as it was. And he gets in, and he tries to start it, and same thing. It turns over, sounds awful, and then it dies. He was like, all right, let me call the tow truck. I'm like, I broke the car. Great. So it gets towed back to the house. He's like, well, let it sit overnight. We'll see what happens in the morning. Luckily, this morning, it started. But obviously, he's like, the coolant's fine. The water's fine. Like, there's no reason other than it's just hot that this thing, and it's old. It's a 2009. So yeah, I can't go anywhere other than like up the plaza with this car. So I got to try and switch cars with my husband and try to get out tomorrow because I need the sewing machine fixed because the other one is making me crazy. Like, I don't want to work on it. It's that bad. But I don't really have a choice. I got to get some work done. So there was that drama. And then I got a call back from my doctor's office on both my son and I's blood work. So we both had some blood work done. He's been in pain. I've been in pain. You know, when your 7-year-old tells you that his legs hurt, like every night, every day, he's like, man, my legs really hurt. I don't want to walk. It hurts to walk. And it's like in his joints. You're gonna listen, right? So he had some blood work done, and my oldest, I don't remember if I'd mentioned this, but my oldest was like a late diagnosis of juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. So the potential's there. Like, autoimmune disorders run rampant in my family. So the nurse calls us back on our lab work. The rheumatoid factor is negative, so that's great, but why are we hurting so much? However, there are some elevated other factors that could still indicate, for me at least, an autoimmune disorder on top of what I already have. So I have, and she asked if, she's like, you know, your son's blood work does look basically normal. I was like, well, there was one that was like an elevated something. She's like, well, if the doctor didn't mention that, coming back to me to call you. So she's like, however, she is willing to go ahead and do a referral to the rheumatoid clinic at our local children's hospital. And I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and see what they have to say, because I don't want him in pain if we can get to the bottom of what's happening. And again, same with mine. No rheumatoid factor, but elevated in other things. She's like, so given your family history and your symptoms, she's like, even though the thing was negative, we still want to refer you to the rheumatologist. There's like 4 or 5 in our entire area. Like, not my little town that I live in, but the entire metro area. So they heavily screen their new patients. You know, they require blood work before you even get the referral. And then they will still probably screen for if I'm actually going to be able to see them. I don't know. We will see if I get to actually talk to somebody about the joint pain and stuff that I've been having. So, and I know somebody commented about they're like concerned about me and how often I'm sick. Trust me, I get it. I'm sick a lot. Suggested, you know, the vitamin C, vitamin D, whatever. I'm like, yes, I take a daily supplement already. I'm on a multivitamin and I'm on an immune booster, and which, to be honest, this past like go round wasn't that bad. I feel like it did help it not be as severe and it not go on as long as I tend to go on when I'm very sick. So yeah, I think that is pretty much the life update. Man, this video is probably going to be longer than I'm comfortable. Well, it's probably an hour and a half at this point. Okay, so let me go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you so much for joining me, especially if you made it through my blah 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 here at the end. Look for the second half of the whip parade, if you will, or the last third, or however that ends up coming out, of the rest of the whips that I have. And then, yeah, I will also endeavor to get that other, I don't know what to call it yet, how I start things and answer questions kind of thing. Not an expert, but I will give you my experience and how I do things. So I feel like, oh, did you hear that? Can you hear that? I love thunderstorms when they're not like stupid severe, and I'm very glad we're getting rain. So, okay guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care, and yeah, enjoy your stitching journey, and I hope to see you around. Bye guys.